Hi guys, welcome to Solly's Models. So today, doing a bit of a sort of how-to / review on a wash, which I use quite frequently, which I think is absolutely brilliant, and that is Flory's Models. They do a nice little wash, selection of washes I should say. Now these washes, I've done a couple of videos using this stuff before. This one's probably a bit more in depth. These guys, their wash is a lot less aggressive compared to other washes. Most of them acrylic or enamel. They have obviously a thinner mixed in with them. So sometimes, which can, if you work it a little bit too hard, you'll take your wash off and then you'll go straight through to the paint and start stripping that in some cases. Not all the time, but sometimes. Things with Flory is actually they're a clay based, so basically water and clay. I've got two types that I use most of the time. And that's grime and a dark dirt. The grime is more of a brown, the dark dirt is a sort of blacky brown, which is the one that I've got on the model here, on the Smith 110 that we're doing at the moment. So obviously depending on location the aircraft's used, or tank or whatever, they do a couple of other ones. They do more of a black, I forget the other ones off the top of my head, sort of more of a sandy type. I think they do about six or eight different variants. They're around, if I remember, I can't remember the bloody price. I should look at this before we started. I think they're around about £6-7, £6-7. Obviously that's UK. I think there's a bit of shipping on there as well. But if you ever at any of their any modelling shows or over in the UK, and just take a look, see if they're there. Well worth having a look at. They do quite a few of the bits and pieces as well, but obviously their washes, I think, is their main product, and they are absolutely fantastic. So as we can see, we've done a wee bit here, we've cleaned, and a bit that I will be working on to show you. One of the other quite good things about this is you can leave this for quite a while. I actually did this, I think, early part of yesterday. Almost quite a simple application, same as everything else. Shake the bottle really well, mix it all in, get a brush, slap it all on, and let it dry a bit. And then all we do from there is quite simply, now I've been using cotton wool buds for this. I think it's really simple. So you don't dip your bud or whatever you're going to use. Don't need it too wet. And it's really simple, just have at it really. So like I says, I put this on yesterday, and obviously I've come back to it later on the next day. And quite simply, you see it's taking it off. And obviously, as always, depending on what sort of level of effect that you want, you just work to that. If you take too much off, slap some more back on. So this will be the great stuff for this, because it's clay based, doesn't really have anything aggressive in it, so it doesn't really matter on how many layers you put on. There's no adjutants in there to have at your paint. Now, obviously, if you haven't, one of the first things you want to do, obviously, beforehand, is put a varnish down, a matte varnish, which will give you a layer of sort of a bit of, or I like to think, is it gives you a bit of a layer of protection on the model. So when you're doing this sort of thing, it doesn't come up too aggressive. You know, if you're really rubbing hard at it. Now obviously I'm using a cotton mold bud. Now you want a big box with this because you will get through them, particularly if you've got quite a large model as well. So sometimes what I have been doing is I've been putting a little bit more water on than I should. So I'll just wet the area and then get a makeup sponge or makeup wedge and then just pull back on it, which can give you some quite nice streaking effects as well. Again, so before, all dependent on what you want. Let's see if this will zoom in a little bit there. As you can see, you're starting to get you know, some streaky motions, particularly if you've got sort of some of the raised areas as well. Sometimes if you can get it right, I tend to find this is a bit of pot luck. You'll get you can get a nice streak drag off something like these parts here, or like rivets, which is also quite a nice, I think it's quite a nice effect. Gives you something that's had a you know, has been used quite a bit, and you know, it's just slowly built up. You know, particularly like an aircraft, you know, you get the airflow. Quite nice, simple. Now we'll try one of these makeup wedges. I don't even know what type of this is, but the other half bought me, so I'm going to see how well this works out. That's quite a nice thing. I suppose it's still a makeup wedge of sorts. And then sometimes, again, I tend to find there's a bit of pot luck with sort of areas that you've got even recessed. Kind of like rivet areas or screw holes. Sometimes it does, if it's pulled up in there and you pull it, and sometimes you get the same and get a similar sort of effect of it streaking out. Because you can get some quite nice effects as well, even in general. I mean, if you wanted to, you know, as like obviously like a tide mark, you know, you might get on some very heavily weathered aircraft, or some of the aircraft that had been taken off on like sort of quite wet, boggy airfields. You know, again, it's all personal preference at the end of the day. So just work at it and, you know, see where you want it to go. And if you take too much off, add a bit more on. Okay, so it's quite a nice, nice simple product. It's not ridiculous. It's quite, you know, it's nice to work with. I think it's a little bit easier to work with than some of the, you know, the enamel based or acrylic based ones. You get some nice effects out of these. Okay, so we'll work on a bit this more, work on this a little bit more, and then we'll come back to you. Okay guys, so there we have it. So I've got it to the level that I'm quite happy with. Admittedly, I did put a bit too much wash on. I quite usually like my aircraft quite heavily weathered. I put a little bit too much. I only wanted a light weathering on this one. I'm still quite happy with it. So So it's nice and easy, really simple. Doesn't really, you know, really cause any. Well, it doesn't cause any damage at all, really, to the model, because it's clay, base of clay and water. So there's no aggressors in there, like you will with the enamels and acrylics, which have obviously got thinners in. So the next step is I'm going to give it a matte varnish on to lock all that in. And because I'm going to be doing this as a captured aircraft, I'll be putting some like a blanking, I'm going to say blanking paint job. So where all the iron crosses and the swastika should be, there's going to be just a blank bit of painting to see. You can see where the crosses used to be, and then an RAF randle, and the colours on the tail will be painted over the top. So they're going to be nice and clean, obviously, because it's going to be a fresher paint job. Obviously, I'm doing this as the 110's been in service for a little bit, then captured, so it's got no markings on, so they're nice and clean. So I hope that helps you guys. So remember, before, Flory's models do quite a selection of washes, fairly decently priced, you know, really nice to use as well. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to get back to you as quickly as possible. If you haven't done already, subscribe to the page. If you like it, give it a bit of a like. If you think it's a bit of a naff video, give it a dislike, that's fine. Also follow us at Sully's Models on Facebook. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.